Bruce, you must have something really good too.
Of course I do. It's Bruce Danielson, and I guess I'm here to entertain you too.
It is 3 o'clock Central Time, Central Daylight Time, on Thursday, April 30th. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Sioux Falls Board of Ethics. Would the clerk please read the roll? Bonnie, would you read the roll?
Sorry. Stacey Fraser.
Here.
Jack Marsh.
Here.
Sue Rouse. Here. Wanda Harris. Here. Dan Fritz.
Here.
Ray
Here.
Lafayette.
Okay, quorum being present, in fact everyone is present, we will proceed with the meeting. The first item on the agenda is approval of minutes from the March 6th meeting, and as part of those minutes is we've included the formal written opinion, which was done on our behalf by the City Attorney's Office. And I signed it on the board behalf, and it has been distributed. That is now up for ratification as part of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as submitted? So, is there a second?
Second.
Any changes or corrections to the minutes? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Approved. Next item on the agenda is taking up any pending issues to be brought before the board. I understand the city attorney wishes to address us, but before that, Mr. Priester, I wonder if we could, if it would be appropriate for you to talk to us about procedurally how a complaint should be handled by this board. Are you comfortable advising us on the procedures of how we handle this matter?
Well, I guess what you're asking is if these matters are handled in the whole session. That's what occurs with complaints by rule, unless the subject of the complaint waives that confidentiality, and then it will proceed in open session. But at this point, there is pending complaint where that person has not waived that confidentiality that's established by rules of procedure of the board.
So, is there any action that we would take today regarding that complaint? And if so, would that be done in executive session, or do we come out of executive session to either decide to proceed with reviewing the complaint or dismissing the complaint?
That will be discussed by the board in executive session. As I'll be recusing myself from this in light of the subject of the complaint, so I'll be recusing.
Okay, very good. So beyond this, we would be using our outside counsel.
Yes.
Mr. Counsel.
Yeah, Mr. Allen Peters, he's present here today. He served in this capacity with the city before, and will be handling this matter as well.
Okay. The city.
Motion to accept your proposal and engage.
We will need a motion to engage Mr. Peterson. And if you all just turn your mics on just so people can hear us. But do you want to make a formal request then that you be recused?
I don't believe procedurally there's any motion to approve, because a denied motion for recusal would create a problem for an attorney. So I don't think there's any board approval for my recusal. The board would have to move to approve Mr. Peterson.
Very good. So at this point, you would stand down?
I'm standing down via recusal.
Very good. Thank you. So we have retained the services of Alan Peterson when we had other instances in which the city attorney had to recuse himself or herself. And my recommendation to the board is that we again retain Alan Peterson as our contracted counsel regarding this matter. And that is provided for in statute. We have that authority to retain our own attorney at any time. Is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Okay, so the motion is that we retain the services of Alan Peterson, who will then become special counsel to the Board of Ethics regarding a confidential complaint 20-A. Any discussion of the motion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Unanimously approved. Mr. Peterson, would you join us up here, please? in advance for your service. We worked with you before on other matters, and that's why we were, no hesitation on our part to ask that you represent us once again. So I think for our benefit and the benefit of the public, would you take us through procedurally how we handle this complaint?
Stay on it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, procedurally, because it is a confidential matter, I would expect you will move into executive session, and the issue will begin with the determination whether you have proper jurisdiction of the complaint. And then if you decide you have jurisdiction, you say you're ready to take any evidence that you want at some later time.
So the decision to be made today is whether we accept the complaint and decide how to proceed with the complaint.
That's correct.
And obviously clearly determining whether we have jurisdiction. In making that decision, do we have to come out of executive session to make that motion and take that vote on either dismissing the complaint or accepting the complaint?
That's a fair question. I think it would be advisable to come out of executive session to actually make the final decision.
Okay. Was it any questions of Mr. Peterson on that? So, I know some questions have been raised, so that means that we're about to take a motion to go into executive session. But we will come out of executive session for a public vote on how we will proceed with this complaint. Is that a fair summary?
Yes.
Agreement? Okay. Is there a motion to go into executive session as allowed by, it's allowed by the open meetings law, is that correct, Mr. Peterson?
Yes.
Can you cite the statute for us?
South Dakota Codified Law 1-25-2, subsections 1 and 3, provide for moving into a closed session to discuss complaints of employees or officers as well as to consult with your attorney on such matters.
Very good. But again, in that executive session, no votes will be taken. We will come out of executive session to take any votes.
Right.
Whether it's a dismissal of the complaint or decision to continue with an investigation. Okay, is there a motion to that effect?
So moved.
So moved by Sue. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Wanda. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. It is approved. So, Mr. Peterson, who appropriately should remain in the room?
Your counsel, your clerk, and your lawyer.
Thank you. So the rest of you, we would ask that you clear the room, and we will turn off the PA system. And I just want to assure you, if you want to stick around outside, before we reopen to the public, we will go out into the hallway and notify everybody that we're going back into public session. All right, in executive session, a motion was made and carried to come back out of executive session, so we've given sufficient notice to those of you who are standing by that we are back in a public session. So this meeting of the Sioux Falls Board of Ethics, April 30th, 2020 is back in session. I believe there is a motion that one of the board members wishes to make.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Board of Ethics complaint 20-A dated March 4th, 2020 be dismissed without prejudice for lack of jurisdiction by this board to hear the complaint alleging a violation of ordinance 35.029. The cited ordinance does not apply.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Mr. Rouse seconds the motion. Discussion on the motion on the table. Hearing none, let's take a roll call vote, please, on the motion. Bonnie, you want to call roll, please?
Dan Fritz,
Aye.
Wanda Harris,
Aye.
Sue Rouse,
Aye.
Jeff Marsh,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any other new business to come before this body? All right, we do provide for public input session, so anyone who wishes to be heard by this board may come forward, identify yourself, and we'll set a 5-minute time limit.
My name is John Cunningham. Concerning Complaint 20-A, you declared that you don't have jurisdiction. Who does have jurisdiction over that? I guess that would be the attorney's question.
Sorry, I'm not in a position to give you legal advice.
Okay. Then we'll address the question to you. But if you don't have jurisdiction over it, who does?
Our ruling will stand, and again, we would advise you that you can review the ruling, and but we can't provide you with legal counsel.
Okay. Well, I guess that would be just the requirements.
Bruce Danielson. Recently, there was a Board of Ethics meeting that discussed your agendas. I just like to let you know that you're currently in violation of the South Dakota Open Meetings Laws by not having a section in here on public input. If you review this, you'll see that once again, the city of Sioux Falls and this board now have failed in acknowledging that the public has an input section in their agenda. And
Bruce, excuse me, let me stop you there. We recognize that there was an error on the agenda, which is exactly why the chair called for public input.
okay,
So we apologize for the oversight on the agenda, but it was identified and corrected.
and when was it identified and corrected?
About 10 minutes ago.
Okay, here's the point of the open meetings law. 24 hours before this meeting, it had to be on there, and it wasn't. And that is once again the violation that's on this board. You know, I attend a lot of these meetings, as you all well know, and that is something that's sacred to those of us who come to these meetings, is to be able to comment on the action or inaction of this board. And as a side to the discussion that you all just had, is you didn't have jurisdiction in this meeting to have a discussion about how you were going to have a meeting. That is not something that can be done in a closed session. That had to be done in the public, and you had to find a way to have that meeting you just had in an open session. So you have once again done your second open meetings violation by having not followed even the basics of Mount Healthy or the Lozman decision about having executive sessions and the discussions. When I had the filing that I did a couple of years ago, where a city council member and city officials were involved, we've had those properly done in those situations. 2014, there was one that was done illegally, and I still haven't decided how I'm going to continue on that one. This is something that needs to be understood. We have a city attorney and we have a city administration that does not believe in the open meeting sunshine laws. And as the chairman's work has been in the many years past, open meetings, open records are incredibly important for a democracy to survive. Right now, I'm watching democracy die in darkness because we are not doing what you people are here for. This is a body. We discussed this before. The law is down here. Ethics are way up here. You are never to decide on the law. You are never to do anything sitting in this room to decide if somebody did something illegal. Your job is find that spot way up there that is the ethical spot to be. And this body is not doing that. And there was an effort this past year that involved rewriting the charter of the city of Sioux Falls. And you're getting the people of the city of Sioux Falls to find that this is a board that doesn't deserve to exist anymore in its current form, and we may have to come in and rewrite how the city of government of Sioux Falls runs, because you people are ethical. You're way up there. You're supposed to be always looking way up in the sky to find the ethical, and we're not getting that at all from these last several decisions. You do not touch the law. The law is the bottom of the barrel. Ethics are way up there, and that's where you need to be looking, and you just did it again. Twice you had two bad things that happened with this meeting, that you broke the law. Now, are we going to be discussing an ethics board decision about breaking the law down here, or are we going to start going for the ethical way up there? Thank you.
With due respect, Mr. Danielson, we acknowledge the error in the agenda in not including a public input session. Did it?
You did.
And our intent all along is to comply with the open meetings law, both the spirit and the letter of the open meetings law. I believe we have done that, and although we acknowledge an oversight in the agenda, we did provide for the public input, and we always will, as long as I'm chairman of this body. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Now,
Thank you very much.
You made a comment about that.
Danielson, I'm not here to debate with you. Thank you. Any further public input?
Appreciate being able to come before you.
Did you come a little?
Can't hear you.
Appreciate being able to come before you. I've been before you before, and I told you that you'll likely see me frequently. Because I stated during public input after one of my hearings that I think this board has become inactive. Staff has been underutilized, and consequently some of the standards that the city is operating under have become lower. And I intend during my term, because I have knowledge and background and education in this area, to bring some issues forward to you. I see what happened here today. It's very clear. You said that based on subject matter jurisdiction, that you didn't have subject matter jurisdiction over this case because section 35029, which applies to city employees and officers, doesn't apply. That same section is repeated in section 35053, and that same concept about gifting, and just an honorarious section applies to council members. And so it appears to me that what has happened is that, again, you have a lay person where you're expecting, a legal responsibility for. And I said this, that's why people don't come before you. I got along fine with you, but I'm a lawyer, and I wrote like a lawyer, and I acted like a lawyer. I didn't act like a citizen. I didn't act like a councilman. I acted like a lawyer. But you're making it impossible for citizens to come access you, for regular people to come before this board, for employees to access you. They're terrified of you. They're not lawyers. You have authority under your rules to accept or reject a complaint based on sufficiency, and you can make a motion to amend it. You have a choice here. You could have did what you did. You said, we're going to dismiss it, because technically, he cited the wrong section. Because they're the exact sections. They say the exact same thing, only one, comes a couple pages later and applies to one group of people, and the one that he cited was wrong. He's a layperson. And you could have, on your own amendment, looked at whatever facts that he alleged in that. Said, this were proven, and one of the tests that you're supposed to be not just deciding today was jurisdiction, but also sufficiency, which is separate from jurisdiction. It's in your rules. There are two things you're supposed to decide in that session. You only mentioned jurisdiction in section 1, sufficiency. If all the things alleged in there were true, was there a violation? As you were deciding that, if all these things are true, there's a violation, you could have amended it on your own, or you could have offered that opportunity to a citizen layperson. Said, sir, if you would, like to look at the appropriate section, then we could reconsider. And that's not offering him legal advice. That's guidance. That's accessibility. That's helping people. You should not have to have a lawyer to come before the board, and you should not have to be a lawyer to come before the board. And neither party, both the accused or the complainant, should have to have lawyers. It was never intended to be that. It's a vehicle, to raise the standards of conduct, to the highest level. And you've heard me pitch that before. I'm pitching it again today. I see what happened. I'm also going to cite to you now, section 35053D. And I'm going to read you, because I'm going to go out to this person. I'm going to reach out to him as a constituent. And I'm going to give him the proper sections, like 35053E. And I'm going to tell him, I'm going to do that based on, and I don't think there's any conflict for me doing that based on this section. City officials, which I am a city official under this section as a council member, except when acting in an official capacity, city officials shall not, except when acting in an official capacity, appear on behalf of any private person before any city agency. An official may appear at any place on behalf of constituents in the course of their duties as representatives of the electorate or in the performance of public or civic obligations. Officials shall not receive compensation for those appearances unless specifically authorized by action of city council. However, this section shall not apply to any official who has fully informed the city agency of his or her private interest in a matter in which he does not participate in any issues related thereto. In my official capacity, him as a constituent, I'm going to reach out to him and say, you may want to go back to the Board of Ethics. And here's the section you may want to cite. If that is the appropriate section for it that you were trying to cite in the first place. And I don't think that there's any conflict of interest in you doing that. I don't intend to get any further into it, because I understand that should this complaint have gone forward, you're in a probable cause capacity. You would have merely been deciding, was there probably a violation, and was the person alleged to have violated it? And if so, what would be the appropriate remedy for that? And then you recommend it moves on to the city council for a public hearing, and there's no more confidentiality. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, but I think that's your job. My complaint might be here today because I intend to come before you. That's true. I want to watch this. I want to watch all these things and how these proceedings occur. I told some of my fellow council members, I'm sick of watching people who have financial interest in boats that they're actually employed, by developers and whatnot coming in. And I said, either stop it or I'm going to take it on. I'm going to bring it forward. Because I told them privately, I've showed them where they shouldn't be voting on that. I've heard about past council members doing it. It's become a practice. And if they keep doing it, I'm going to come before you. So part of my purpose for being here today was to understand this process, understand this hearing process. I read all of your rules before I came in. I wanted to see how it functioned. Another thing you might consider is that when you are giving advice to the council, everything doesn't have to be in closed session. When you're getting advice on the general laws that this board is to be following, as much of that law advice should be done in public as can. To the extent that you have to discuss it in private because of the confidentiality availability that the complainant has can be done, but as much as can be done in public, I need to know. I need to know what exactly, where you decided, subject matter jurisdiction or personal jurisdiction. I've got a right to know that. I've got a right to learn and listen so I can bring my complaints appropriately and have them heard, or I can ask for my advice. So that's why I'm here. I want to make a second pitch to you that you are an incredibly important vehicle for the operation of the city. And the fact that people can't bring things before you because they just shut down on technicalities is not a good thing. It's not a good, healthy thing for us. I have the utmost respect for everyone who sits around this table. And I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Councilor Bernie. Anyone else wishing to come before the board? Any other new business that